Oh, yeah.
There we are live. Hello and welcome to the 39 people who are already watching, to everyone who's already commented: Craig Gordon, Matthew Delgado, Warren Roberts, Walnus Abers, James Dent, Neil Malcolm Hodgkin, Rula von der Merwe, Gavin Silverstein, Lance Lee, Peron Pasharishaman, Chris Wright, Grant Martin, and Evo Pino. Welcome to a very special edition of Talking MotoGP, the Brno race debrief, if you'd like to call it that, with myself, Rob Portman from Motor Rider World, and of course Donovan Paris from the Bike Show TV show. Although I'm now old Uncle Rob after the video the other day that Brad very kindly sent me. Everyone just knows me as old Uncle Rob now. So
you're even older today. We're both old.
I am feeling extremely old, proud, and happy after.
Look at my eyes. I can't see anything. I held my breath for a solid hour today. Even like 10 minutes after the race, I was so like.
So if you were a grown man or woman or person or whatever and cried like an absolute baby today, put up your hand.
I didn't cry while I couldn't breathe. So, but you know.
I'm so surprised I even have a voice now. We're going to get onto the piece of history that was made today, but I'm very, very pleased, honored, welcome to introduce some people that we want to hear from. We can't wait to hear from, and it is the reason why there is a fantastic.
The greatest human beings alive right now.
The two greatest people on the planet right now.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Trevor and Sharon Binder, mother and father to the amazing Brad Binder and Sharon Binder. Here we go. We can see you. You guys are now live. Hello, Sharon and Trevor.
Hello, Trevor.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you guys doing? How are you feeling?
Good. Fantastic day today. I think history was made today for us as a family. It's been a long journey, and today it all seems worthwhile.
So, yeah, before when I announced on Facebook that me and Don were going to do this Talking MotoGP show, everyone just said, "Oh, you got to get Trevor and Sharon. Never mind the hard work me and Don do. Just get Trevor and Sharon." So, ladies and gentlemen, I've got Trevor and Sharon. Trevor, Sharon, where were you guys watching the race today?
Home. We always are.
With a parrot and a lion that you call a dog. And what happened once, Trev, I know how I was feeling watching Brad. I was screaming at the TV at Brad when he got into first place. I was calling him all kinds of names, just telling him to slow down. You don't have to carry on pushing. What were you doing?
My heart was racing. And I said to Sharon this morning, I said, Brad's going to win today. I had a feeling he was going to do it. When I watched him in warm-up this morning, he had good rhythm, consistent times. I said, Sharon, today's the day. He's going to win this today.
And did he give you any idea? Like, obviously, you chat to him every day. We saw what we could see from free practice and that. But what did he say to you after Saturday? It looked like he had good rhythm on the medium tire. Wasn't really enjoying soft. But did he say to you, Dad, Mom, I got this. Sunday, I got this. Watch.
He didn't say that much, and I tried not to say too much to him. I didn't want to put pressure on him after the two bad races that he just had, So I didn't want to say to him, hey, Brad, do this, hang it out on the first corner, go around the outside. I just kept calm, and I never said anything to him because I didn't want to put any bad luck on him, I just thought, just let him work it out himself, which he really did well.
Hey, Sharon, a question for you. Who was crying more? You, Trevor, the parrot, or the dog that you call or the lion you call a dog?
I think we were all crying.
I was crying like an absolute baby. I promise you, I was crying, screaming, yelling, cursing, praying. I've never felt emotion like that in my life. So I can't even imagine what you guys, people don't realize what you guys went through. I remember, Trevor and Darren being here at home while you were with Brad overseas. And I mean, you saw each other like a month out of the year. Seeing what happened today, you must have just thought, I mean, you've had so many moments with Brad and with Darren, But I mean, this must be now like I don't even know what to say. Actually, I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing that it's got to this stage, in our lives.
So what happened
I
before?
couldn't believe it. I didn't think it would happen so soon.
Well, this is the thing. 3 races in, you think the likes of Colin Edwards didn't win a MotoGP race, and he did 6 million of the things. So before we came on, Sharon, I had to send Sharon a link for this. So she opens her computer. She doesn't know if she's got a mic, and it's Sunday. She's looking terrible. Hasn't cut his hair. You know, everyone's going crazy. And Sharon's got like 16 million emails for the online website now. People wanting to buy stock. So if you get your stock a little bit late, please do understand it is. It's going to be a lot of Sharon, because she's got a lot to do. But Sharon and Trevor, just again, well done. Thank you for everything you've done for me, my family personally. But you know, you guys are true testament. Me and Amy often talk about you guys and look up to you as like the perfect family. And well done with what you've done for the boys. I know Donovan, who's also here, the hairy, ugly one, wants to say something else.
Now, I got a very important question. Brad was using the word gosh. Now, people under the age of like 40 don't use the word gosh. Which one of you talked the word gosh?
Must be Sharon.
It was definitely Sharon. If it was Trevor, it would have been another one.
Yeah, wait, no, Darren got his vocabulary from Trevor, and Brad got it from Sharon. That's what happened.
Yeah, Darren got his manners from Trevor. Brad got his manners from Sharon. That's how it is.
That's for sure.
Trevor, Sharon, thanks so much for joining us. You can see the dogs; they can now calm down. I know you hate this kind of thing, but thank you so much for coming on, and well done. Just congratulations again, and yeah, we'll just carry on supporting those 2 beautiful boys and your entire family.
Thanks for all the support and the good things you do for the boys. Thank you. Cheers.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, guys. You can have the rest of the evening off. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh,
Don,
no.
don't cry, Don.
I'm not crying. I'm like exhausted. It's like I can't.
You're crying.
I'm not. I'm a Dutchman.
You're crying. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah, what are those coming out of your eyeballs? Okay, your eyeballs are leaking.
Don, how do you explain what happened? My phone hasn't stopped, obviously, and I promise everyone that I will reply to you. But how do you explain? Tell me how you're going to explain what happened today.
I'm not. You know, watch the bloody thing. I mean, I think we're all sitting here. Okay, right. Put it this way. Usually during or after a race, I'll put stuff up on my Facebook page, okay? And those things are usually quite sort of, shall we say, explanatory kind of things, using a bit of logic. Did anyone notice that this happened and that happened, and then behind the scenes this, with Brad, you were just putting up things like no words. We're putting up like just emojis and putting up, because how you don't. I mean, I'm so grateful that they have things like emojis, and I know people are like, oh, emojis, this, that. They are brilliant, because things like today, you cannot use words. They're not words. They're feelings. And you put emojis are the sort of the language of feelings, and you've got to use them. Oh, I don't know. Today was as what the commentator said. He said, "I've got no words. I've got no words." So that's a problem when you're a commentator. And it's what we're feeling today.
But God, are we that surprised? Because let me tell you what happened here. Okay, you're gonna divulge a little bit into the qualifying and what you read into this whole thing. We spoke earlier, and you were kind of like, we actually shouldn't be surprised, and we shouldn't, because it's Brad Bittner. But let me tell you, on lap 4 of the race, I get a message from Sheridan Moraes saying Brad's going to win this race comfortably.
Yes.
Anyway, after the race now.
Yes.
Whoever knows Sheridan Moraes, a couple of years ago when we did the first meet and greet with Brad was asked by Greg Maloney, who also phoned me today in absolute tears, because it's been a long journey for all of us, and we've all felt a part of this. You know, we've been a part of this kid from when he was a youngster, running around stealing our knee sliders and our bars and stuff. But Sheridan said to me, so Brad said on that meet and greet, one of his heroes in racing is Sheridan, because, you know, Sheridan for long was a guy that was still paving the way. You know, he bridged that gap for South Africans to go overseas. And Shez never shows emotion, and he never cries. I took that bastard to Marley and Me, the movie. You know Marley and Me, the movie, where you cry, where the dog dies? And
Marley and Me, I have taste.
No, Marley and Me is about a beautiful dog that dies. So you cry because it's sad.
I don't want to watch a movie about a dog that cries. Why would you watch that?
No,
Yeah.
dog that dies. Yeah. So the bastard, so it's
Okay.
myself, Amy, Ads, and Shares. Myself, Amy, Ads are bawling our eyes out. Sheridan, the South bastard, isn't crying a tear. Anyway, so the man just doesn't cry, tough as nails. He phones me today and he's like, Rob, I got emotional today. That is the meaning. I had a guy phone me from News 24, Carl Cowan now, just to get some notes and stuff. And he said, what does this mean? And I said, this should mean to South Africa more than winning that World Cup with Francois Pienaar when Mandela was next to them. This should mean more than that, because that was expected, that was supported by a country, that was supported by a government, that was supported. What Brad has done and his family have done to get what happened today was with the support of everyone that's tuning in here and us and that, but there was no other team, there was no other big Afrikaners scrumming him to win. It's been them. And
yeah. No, I explained this. Remember, we did that whole carte blanche thing, and I explained it there. I said, the thing is, to go overseas, and I remember, okay, as you said, you're going over as a team with your rugby, and in South Africa, rugby is huge, and cricket is huge, and soccer is huge, so it's huge. You know, you're surrounded by support. You know, racing doesn't have that here in South Africa, and you're going over to places like Spain, where racing's like the #1 sport. Among all of these strange people who are all sort of big celebrities talking funny languages, weird customs, weird places, bikes you've never ridden before, tracks you've never ridden before. I mean, I did a race in one of the BSB support classes in 2006. You know, I was 24 at the time, and I was lost. I mean, and that's in England where they speak English. I was lost. I got there, I didn't know where I was supposed to be, I didn't know what I was supposed to do, I didn't know what the tires were, I didn't know the track. I had to ask directions how to get from, we had a pit behind the pit, sort of that's where most people are. I had to ask directions how to get to the pit lane on my race bike to go onto the track. You know, that it's daunting, you're confused, you're befuddled. And that was in some little like minor support race. And to go over there and take on the absolute best of the world on their home tracks, in their home territory, it takes a special kind of this. And people were saying things like, well, with the last two races, surely Brad's a bit, no, he's just got so much steel going on in there right now. Okay, we're going to get back to what you said. You said I had a feeling this morning that I thought he might do something. In fact, I thought of it last night. I thought he might do something special. And two things happened. I mean, you watch all the practices. Friday, okay, wasn't great. And they said, look, they were struggling a little bit on Friday. The team did a lot of work on Friday night. Saturday morning, he was a new binder. I mean, other things happened. The thing that got to me was in qualifying. Now, already he was pretty quick during the morning FP3. FP4, he was also pretty quick. And what I mean by pretty quick is because practices are a bit confusing. You've got all these hot shots that go out there. They do 3 hauling laps, super fast lap times, and they look great on the timesheets, but they can't do those lap times for more than 3 laps. You know, over a 25-lap race, not a chance. Whereas Brad's out there doing his race pace, boom, 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 boom. So all the laps he's doing is pretty much race pace. So it doesn't look good on the timesheets, but it looks, you know, if you look at it compared to what the race pace is going to be, it's damn good. And he was looking damn good. And the thing that got to me, he went out in Q2, the qualifying, and he qualified on 7th on a medium rare tire. And everyone else was on soft. And the thing that got me, he said he felt better on the medium. And I thought, right, to feel better on the medium, where everyone else was a bit befuddled, they were going for soft tires, and I thought they're going to have a hard time. If he's fast on the medium, he's going to be damn quick. And you notice that he just had grip the whole way through the tire, where the others did, the whole way through the grip on the rear tire when the others were struggling. And that's something else about Brad, is he will go out on a track that's slippery as all hell, with the tires, you know, canvases coming through the tires, and he'll ride the living daylights out of that thing, because that's what he's learned to do. I mean, he grew up on Moto3 machines that were made out of flipping cheese, you know, and he just had to take these motorcycles that are pieces of scrap built in a shed, and he had to work with it, just make them work, because there's no other choice. Last year with that cement mixer, that Moto2 cement mixer, same thing. You have to make it work, and that's what he did. So, yeah, today he was fine.
So you're saying we shouldn't be surprised. And let me tell you, like Shez also said to me, this should have and would have happened at Jerez as well. So you had the blunders there, but if you take all the data and He should have won 3 races. I mean,
Well, I think-
yeah.
I think Fabio was really quick at Jerez, but remember, like we said, I don't know if Fabio's last time after Jerez, we said we're not sure if Fabio's going to be quick everywhere. And you look again today,
But
probably.
let me tell you, okay. So Brad never just won today. Brad annihilated the greatest riders in the world, mentally, physically, talently, everything. He destroyed these guys. So now, yes, Fabio Quartararo is the next big thing. He's amazingly fast. He's brilliant. But he's climbed onto a developed Yamaha that Zarco went well on, Paul Espargaro went well on, Cal Crutchlow went well. Everyone goes well on a Yamaha. When it's an off day like today, they back him. But he climbed on a brilliant bike, and he took a whole year to win on set up motorbike and brilliant bike. Brad Binder, 3 races in, potentially should have won all 3. But at Brno, where we spoke last week before this and said, oh, they might battle at Brno. For God's sake. What happened? What happened?
Yeah, Brno is just traditionally not a Binder track.
No.
It's just somewhere he doesn't do that well. The only time I still remember him doing really well was in that rain race. Remember 2016? He was leading by miles and then binned it. He binned it in turn 1. I mean, it was the only time he really did well at Brno. Apart from that, it's not really a great track for him.
Yeah.
But again, this one, I mean, it was a bumpy track. It was a slippery track. The tires were all going off, and that's Binder territory. He's used to riding on a bike that's not perfect because he's done it his whole life. So everything goes off. The other riders that have all had the sort of red carpet treatment and always the greatest everything, they struggle. He just like, oh, well, the bike's not handling right. It's fine. I'll just ride around it. Used to it.
Well, I don't know if I think you were doing the same as me, and Sven Grinner's brought it up here. Did you see like the slow motion shots and just the general shots of Brad with that front end? Now, when Brad passed Quartararo and nearly severed his foot off and then got to the front, and with 8 laps to go, was still jamming that front end in, I was like, for F's sake, Brad, slow down, you arsehole.
So this is how the race went. Okay, Brad got to the front. He started pulling away. And he was like 5 seconds the lead. And you're sitting there going, something's going to go wrong. This is just, you have this paranoia about you. Something is going to go wrong, and you're sitting there going, it's going to go wrong. And they were showing all the other idiots, further back and the way they were dicing and all that. You're sort of thinking, any second now, they're going to cut across to a shot and there's going to be the number 33 KTM on its side of the gravel. You're just going to go, because this is all too good to be true. This is just it's too good. Even when he was going into the last corners and he was going in, I was like, here we go, he's going to lose the front. No, okay, now he's going into the other flick flack, he's going to lose it. And even when he's going down the pit straight, like towards a checkered flag, you're like, front wheel's going to fall off or something. Then he crosses the finish line and you're going, no, it can't be. No, it's just, it can't. This is not possible. What is this? It's just, that is the way the whole race, and to make it even worse, he wobbles. Have you seen his riding style? That's the way he rides. The bike wobbles. He likes the bike to be loose. Do you know what that does to our heads? I mean, he doesn't even notice it, but we're watching this and he's going into corners and the bike's doing this and you're going, no, stop it.
I know, and you know what even made it worse? Because the commentators kept going on about how brilliant, and I said, like, shut up. You're going to commentate curse. Just shut the hell up, please. Dude, and you know what happens? Okay, so he goes and destroys everyone. Like Greg Maloney says here, still doing 158 on tires that were toast. And guys couldn't even do that on brand new tires. But this is what happens afterwards. You cross the line, you win your first MotoGP race after 3 races. You're the greatest invention ever. You come out of turn 1, turn 2. Your hero, Mr. Valentino Rossi, the greatest of all time, comes and gives you the head bow. Dude, I faint and die there and then. I faint.
Couldn't do it.
I'm watching this guy on TV and my legs are shaking in it. And this guy makes it look in his interview afterwards. He's just won MotoGP race. No tears, keeps it all together. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, my K team. It'll sink in. I love you. This guy keeps it all. He doesn't do the Quartararo and break his visor, and he doesn't do. He keeps it all together.
And he says, "Gosh." No, wait. Two things. First of all, did you notice that in the Parc Ferme, they had kind of like the inner Parc Ferme and outer Parc Ferme, like gap between it, and you're not supposed to cross that. all the other riders, all the other teams, all the Europeans just went straight under the one and then straight jumped on everybody else.
Yeah.
Did you know Brad got to that like inner one, stopped there? This is a very like well thought up South African. Thank you, Sharon and Trevor. More Sharon, I think. But anyway, he gets to that inner one, stops, kind of says, "Can I cross?" Okay, I'm sorry. So South African. He's so it's like this polite, almost like Afrikaans. Excuse me, can I, you know?
But anyone who knows Brad and has spent time, but that is genuinely how the guys, and this is why KTM are throwing money at this guy and doing everything they can to keep him, because it's not only what he does on track, it's off track actually more that get you crying again.
No, I'm not crying. I'm looking at you, making my eyes water.
Crying? You're crying. But let me tell you, I cried like an absolute baby because Saturday night, here's this MotoGP rider, him and his whole family, and he sends me that video where he says, "Hey guys, welcome to Motor Rider World, Uncle Rob." And I just think, this guy doesn't have to do any of that. He then sends me a message and says, "Sorry, the video was so late." I'm like, dude, just thank you, man. Just thank you for my whole family and everything. Then he says, "I'm going to speak to my manager about putting some stickers on my helmet for you." And I'm like, this is this MotoGP star telling his old Uncle Rob he'll put some stickers on a helmet that costs millions. You got to pay millions for that little sticker. And this guy wants to just put a sticker on for me. When I phone him and I ask him to do these fundraisers and that for me, it's never been anything but a tell me what time and where. Not a, even if there's been a little bit of headbutts with managers and Uncle Rob, tell me what and where. And that's the case for Brad, Darren, Shiz, and all those guys. And this is what I'm saying. So I got emotional and my Amy phoned me from Mauritius. Trey, my little boy, stood by the TV with his Uncle Brad, loving life, because I met Brad when he was 9 years old and Darren was 7. So to me, I am an uncle. I'm a father in a way. I've been through the good and the bad with the whole family, and to see that, I sat there and I thought, I actually still don't believe it. To be honest, I still don't know what I actually just saw today, because he didn't do a last lap, last corner move on the inside to win that race.
No.
He annihilated the greatest riders on this planet. He annihilated, and he mentally destroyed them, because he rode around the outside of Paul Espargaro, and let me tell you, that ruined Paul. We're going to get into the Paul Zarco thing.
Yeah.
But it ruined Paul's race, because Paul went, "Are you joking? I'm Mr. KTM. You've ridden around the outside of me," because then Paul was tucking the front and overriding, because Brad had mentally said, "I'm going to ride around your outside." And Quartararo, if you look how Brad passed Quartararo, he didn't make it not. He did it last minute to prove a point and say, "Listen, Fabio, I've been sitting behind you. You're holding me up. I'm going to pass you and duck now." So Brad's got this killer instinct, it seems. And he had it in Moto2 as well. He didn't just beat you. He wanted to thrash you. And today, those guys, Maverick Vinales, wherever he finished, no one cares. Dovi, wherever he finished, no one cares, are sitting there going, holy crap. Forget Marquez. They were also happy that Marquez out-injured and that now they've got a Binder to deal with.
Hang on, I've got something for you. Let's see if people can see it. Let me try and angle it.
Oh, there we go. Mark, Mark with a Q. Mark Marquez, never heard of her. Dude.
So wrong, I'm sorry. I remember there was that guy named Mark. I think he's related to Alex Marquez, that back marker. But he deserves to be there because he's Moto2 champion.
I was waiting for it.
He sat there and said, "No, Brad's good and all, but Alex is Moto2 champion." And we all said, "But he sucks." No, well, how does he Moto2? Because listen to us, he sucks.
You know why Brad did so well? Because he didn't have an Oliveira in front of him either.
I know. Well, okay. Shall we quickly talk about? Oliveira, one thing. Okay, Oliveira did pretty well actually. All Oliveira fans who swore about Brad. Anyway, but Oliveira did well. I mean, what was he, 5th or something? I don't know. But anyway, he was rough.
There were other guys in the race, by the way.
I think so. Oliveira did well. I want to quickly, let's talk a little bit about, we're going to digress a little bit. We know the brilliance that is Brad Binder. Paul Espargaro. Okay, I saw Tug. I can't forget his surname. Everyone calls him Tug. He's an Australian journalist, hangs out with Boris a lot. They do that MotoGP podcast. It's coming out soon. Please listen to it. It's amazing. I mean, they're nearly as good as Robert. Obviously, but listen to that. It's brilliant. Tug pointed out. He said that whole incident between Pol Espargaro and Zarco was caused by Brad Binder. And you got to think about that for a second. No, do you know? He's right. He's 100% right. It was caused by Brad Binder. Why? Because Pol Espargaro saw a Brad Binder disappearing away from him on his bike.
Correct.
On the KTM bike. Pol is supposed to be the number one man. He's meant to be the one that's going to bring glory to KTM. And he saw his rookie teammate disappearing. And what happened? He ended up running wide. He ran wide in the corners before. He went into turn one. He ran wide. Zarco tried to go up the inside and bump, and Espargaro went down. He ran wide because of Brad Binder. So if you want to know what happened, what caused that incident, Brad Binder did.
You're 100% right. But look, in a way, I mean, I spoke to Pol on Thursday, and he sings praise for Brad, but that praise, you can hear that slowly starting to go, well, I'm worried about this guy. And I still said to him, listen, good luck for the weekend. Just make sure, Brad, you don't beat Brad, and that kind of happened. But a big pat on the back also needs to go out here to Danny Pedrosa, who's the unsung hero behind the scenes, because yes, Brad was sensational, but how good have the KTMs been since? And let me tell you what happened as well, talking about the whole KTM thing. Last year when I was at the last Valencia race of the season and Brad went into the MotoGP, I got very close with Stephanie and Sebastian, from the PR manager from the Red Bull KTM team, and a couple of people. They really looked after us there. They really did look after us there, especially Stephanie. And she said, well, people close in the team said, Rob, watch next year. We have got this guy, suspension guy, coming from that other suspension manufacturer. He's the top dog, and he's coming over to WP suspension. Because obviously one of the big questions that the press always ask is, why do you guys persist with WP suspension when you can go with Öhlins? It's tried, tested, bolted on, and it works. And they said,
interesting point. When was the last time a non-Öhlins rider won a race?
Yeah, very good question.
I'm going to say it's probably a Honda rider with Shower. Remember Shower used to put on some of the Hondas.
But how long was that?
I don't know. Things were still in black and white in those days. They hadn't invented color yet.
But I mean, look, a pat on the back to them. Quickly tell me what you think about the Zarco Pol incident. Honestly.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm actually going to give a little bit of a thing here. I'm going to tell you. Sorry, I kind of did screenshots. I've got stuff on my phone. Sorry. So I'm looking at my phone occasionally. I'm not being rude. This is for the sake of this. Casey Stoner tweeted about that. He said, that's disgraceful MotoGP, space exclamation mark. Zarco did nothing wrong. If you run wide, you cannot expect to cut back to the curb without anyone being there. Terrible call from the officials. Okay, that's Casey Stoner. Then Paolo Chiapatti, the head of Ducati Racing, said, yeah, completely right. He agrees, but, then again, he would. Okay, I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to say 60% Zarco, 40% Pol Espargaro.
Okay.
To blame. Okay, the reason is, Pol ran it kind of wide, but not like extremely wide, like, he was on the curb and he was off the track and he was trying to desperately come back. He was a bit wide. And guys take kind of wide lines there. So that's true. He was a bit wide. However, there's a very distinct rule in racing, and a lot of people don't know this. Rob, you'll know this. The overtaking is not, the right of way is not who has the inside line. It's not who's on the racing line. It's got nothing to do with that. It's very simply this. It is the responsibility of the person doing the overtaking to overtake safely. That it is the responsibility of the person overtaking. So it was Zarco's responsibility to overtake safely. That is the rule. No inside, no outside, no. The person doing overtaking must do it. And, you think of Pol. Okay, he ran a bit wide, but all right, not that wide. And he was heading back again. And next thing he was on the floor. Whereas Zarco kind of, okay, but it's a bit weird because Zarco's hanging off the inside of the bike. He can't quite see, but he knows he can't quite see, and he knows there's a bike there somewhere, but he still went anyway. So You know what I mean?
So,
Bulldog's chewing. Sorry about the noise. My bulldog's chewing a thing here. Come here, you. Stop it. Carry on.
A lot of people are agreeing with the Stoner comment. A lot of people saying it was not Zarco's fault. Look, a pat on the back must go to Zarco with how he recovered. That is the fastest long lap penalty and most skilled long lap penalty you will ever see in your life. First of all,
hang on. Did you see after the race, after everything, they interviewed Zarco about it? He said, "Tell us about that." He says, "Well, I do a lot of riding on the road in southern France, so you learn.
Listen, I'm not a big Zarco fan after the whole KTM thing, but I take my hat off with the way he did the long lap. I take my hat off with his post-race interview where he congratulated Brad. He even sang him a song. I agree with that. Let me tell you my thing. So now, talking MotoGP, Motor Rider World, everything is going to be about freedom of speech. This is unscripted. We say it how we feel, and everyone can have their own opinion here as well. And where I can see what Stone is saying, but you got to look at the corner itself as well. That corner, you can go in. The fast line in that corner is to run a bit deep and double apex it and drive it out. Very seldomly do guys hug the racing line like Zarco was trying to do. Here's my argument. Yes, Paul Espargaro runs wide. Yes, Zarco sees the gap. He goes into that gap. But where does he think Paul Espargaro is going to go, the arsehole?
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
Paul Espargaro is going to bring it back. And Simon Crayford said the same thing. Where did he think Paul Espargaro was going to go? And if you look at it, Zarco could have easily pulled out of that move. But it's Paul Espargaro, the man who's criticized him so much, and it's KTM who he hates. He wanted to hit Paul Espargaro. I know what you're all saying, and I respect your opinion. If that was any other rider, Zarco would not have pulled that move.
I think Zarco took a chance and it didn't work. But he took the risk and it didn't work. He kind of.
I think he took that chance because of who it was.
Yeah, maybe. I think I don't quite think that at that moment when you're riding like that and that sort of happens, you're not having a whole philosophical going, well, that's Paul Espargaro. They were my employee last year. I think they're a bunch of dicks. So I don't know, maybe unconsciously a little bit.
No, I think so. He just got passed by Paul. He knew in the race briefing that
there's a bulldog chewing my. Hang on, please. Stop it. We interrupt this broadcast because it's bulldog chewing my.
So Paul passes him. Now, everyone in the paddock knew that Paul Espargaro is one of the favorites to win the KTM at a better pace. So he passes Zarco. Zarco then goes, if I don't do something to this guy, he's going to beat me, and both KTMs are going to beat me. And I'm once again, instead of finishing on the podium or qualifying pole on this Ducati, headline's going to be Zarco beaten by the KTMs that he left. I'm telling you, I know it doesn't go through their mind about it. If there was any other rider, Zarco backs out. It doesn't go.
Subconsciously. Kyle Cohen's pointing out, I actually have that written as notes. What Zarco said, he said, I'll try to do my French accent. This is racing, it's not dancing.
I understand that. And Kyle Cohen from News 24, he's putting a really nice piece together on this. I had a good but I understand that this is racing. I do. But having raced and been in that situation before, Zarco knew that Paul was faster than him. He knew it. He knew. So why try and fight back like that? Why not try and tag him or try and let him pull you to the guys? Or to me, first of all, Zarco, Paul Espargaro is going to come back online. Like you said, he wasn't miles away, and it wasn't a corner where if you run wide, you can't bring back. That corner, like Simon Crayford said, that corner, the ideal line is to, and you watch Paul Espargaro throughout the entire free practice sessions and everything, he was almost on that same line. That's his line, point and squirt the KTM. And Zarco is running this hug-tight line, which you don't even take in the PlayStation game, I might add.
So, okay, all these guys saying, well, I see Wesley said that Paul ran wide. Well, you can't just go back. Actually, you can.
Of course you can.
And Paul left a huge gap. Of course he's going to take. Yeah, of course. But, no, okay, can I tell you what I agree with? I said it's 60-40 in more going to Zarco. I mean, Paul did leave a big gap. It's sort of enough for Zarco to kind of go, I'm going to take this. So, enough for him to take the risk. So, yeah, you shouldn't have left a big gap. At the same time, again, it was Zarco's. It's not Paul who can't come back. Paul can come back. Of course he's going to come back. And Zarco knows he's going to come back. Zarco knows that. That's the point. Zarco knows he's coming back, and it is Zarco's responsibility to ensure that he overtakes safely. That's it. None of this, oh, he's right, he can't go. Casey Stoner is wrong. By the way, Casey Stoner saying nothing wrong with Zarco when he bitched and moaned when Rossi did far less aggressive overtaking maneuvers with him. He bitched and moaned. If that was Stoner getting bumped by Zarco, he would have cried and moaned for days. It's a bit different, even for racers sitting on the couch, isn't it?
So, like I said, guys, please, I respect everything that you're saying down there. This is free, open speech. Keep the comments coming. This is not a FU kind of situation. I love and I understand exactly what you're saying, and I can appreciate it. What I'm saying, like Quinton van Wyk says, Zarco did. He said afterwards he tried to use his corner speed to pass. So when you hit the curb like Zarco was in that corner, okay, trying to carry that speed, where is Zarco going to go? He's going to drift into where Paul Espargaro is going, because you can't hold a tight line there. No one takes that tight line in that corner. No one. If you watch the entire history of Brno, the line there is to run it a little bit deep and square it off. I do it in the PlayStation game all the time as well. That's what I do. Yeah. I run it a bit deep and I square it off.
R3, R2, now someone's going to point out, but Senna said if you don't shut up. Senna was in the car, and if you watch the way he raced, he was a good driver, well said, but he was a bit of a bastard. He was a bit of a bastard. And I'm sorry, bike racing is a bit different. You don't just spin out. Bike racing, you kill someone. So shut up. Don't bring up that Senna quote.
So listen, I gained respect for Zarco this weekend. I lost a lot of him over the past year. I gained a lot, so I can understand, and I'm happy he was on the podium, and the way he handled the long lap, there was some great stuff. I just feel desperately upset for Paul Espargaro, who you know is the nicest guy in the world. Really wanted to be that guy that has worked so hard on the KTM to be on the podium in the draw, and it never happened.
Can I just point out something, digressing slightly? After when Brad stopped on the side of the track, got the South African flag from his brother and all the CIP team, that was rather lovely. Miguel Oliveira stopped next to him and said congratulations.
Oh, that was nice. Very nice.
Nice one. I mean, after all of that, they didn't have an argument, but they sort of had.
It was a head bash. It was a flat out head bash.
That's all cool.
Like we said, behind.
Ayrton Senna said it the best. Then you're no longer. Yeah, okay. He's a Formula One driver and a dirty one at that. And those are cars. When you bump another driver, you spin out and nothing happens. On a bike, you hit another rider and he dies. So don't do that Senna crap.
So look, where's this comment that I saw here now? Someone just said, let's ask Brad himself. And we'll do that on Tuesday. Oh, there, Christopher van Wyk. We're going to, and I didn't even know we were doing Tuesday night, but he said it in that voice note, in that the video message to me. So we're definitely going to do Tuesday night. I'll keep you all informed. We'll put up another link for that. But behind the marvelous Luca Jefferson, and all you guys know, I'm not going to give you any of my PS4 setups because it's hidden top secret stuff.
PS4 rubbish now. You haven't got a wife there anymore, so now you're just doing Pornhub and PS4. We'll do it.
You bastard. A very, 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 very long way behind the masterful Mr. Brad Binder, who we love more than anything and should take over the entire world, was another race going on. The Yamahas. I thought they would struggle speed-wise in that at Brno. It looked like they were good. They just battled with tyre.
Yeah, they battled with tyres. What I will say is I really thought, especially after pre-season testing, where the Yamahas were like 500 kilometers per hour slower than everything else, they looked fast. And I mean straight line, up horsepower hill, especially when Brad was behind both Quartararo and Morbidelli. I thought Brad was going to come blasting past because I know the KTM was only slightly slower than the Ducatis, and he didn't, especially up that horsepower hill. I remember previously those Yamahas got owned over there, and so that is quite something. I mean, obviously they've done something probably with the electronics because they can't change the engines, but they did something. So those Yamahas are looking very good. And another great result from Signor Rossi, who was the second Yamaha on track, beaten once again only by Morbidelli. But, as everyone says, he's old, he should retire, he should... Shut up.
He put in a brilliant race. I was impressed with Franco. Fabio got a little bit of a wake-up call, kind of, Jerez just played into his hands, tight, twisty track, and he just played into his hands. He was fast, but again, he could only do it on he did a Lorenzo. He could only do it on a certain setup with a certain tire. Is that something that he's going to have to look at? If he can't run his soft tire, is he not going to be in the mix?
Well, we've seen this before with Quartararo, and people said, can he beat Marquez? Incidentally, this is very bad news for Quartararo, because now with Binder winning, it gives, Mr. Marquez must be smiling, because now not everyone's getting as many points, so he doesn't need to catch up as much. So that should make it very, very interesting. We'll wonder when he's going to be back. But anyway, but again, Quartararo, where Marquez can go every single race and run up front. If he can't win, he'll be second or third. Whereas Quartararo, when things don't go well, he's, he goes backwards, and that's sort of a problem here. Mr. Dovizioso.
Oh God! Before you carry on, I had a little bit of a discussion with someone on Facebook about this, because people think I'm being a little bit too hard when I go on Dovi and he's looking miserable and and he's maybe now taking. People go on about Rossi taking a seat. In my eyes, Dovi looks miserable and he's taking a seat. And then it was brought up that, but you must remember, Dobby's still riding injured. Listen, excuse me, Alex Rins with half an arm went and challenged for a podium today, and Cal Crutchlow is right. So I don't want to hear that. Dobby is taking the seat and he's crying like a baby and he's sulking. And he must either wake up or he must ship out. He must decide what he wants to do now. Just talking about a year off racing. Who do you think you are? Yes, you're Dobby and you've been second in the championship, but you've been on the best bike for the last couple of seasons. You haven't been able to win it. But take Marquez on, you win. You never won. Stop whining. You are not Valentino Rossi or Brad Binder. You can't just take a year out of racing and just come back whenever you want.
Yeah. No, because what was interesting is the only Ducati that did well was Zarco's, and it's a year old. I mean, there was Miller also. Sadly, Pecco Bagnaia hurt himself. That's I'm so gutted for that guy. He's out for this race, next race. He says he might only be back for Misano. And it just annoys me, because he's also one of these really cool, nice guys. You just kind of, there's these nice guys when they win, you kind of go, yeah, nice one, buddy. You're a good guy. We're glad you're there. So, I didn't like that. But there was Miller, Petrucci, and Dovizioso, and all of them are on the new bike, and they all utterly sucked. Every single one of them sucked. I think Miller was in 40. In fact, Dovizioso, to his credit, I know we're criticizing, but he finished, I think it was 10th. He was the top new Ducati rider, which is sort of interesting. I think, so in fairness, maybe there is something to be said there. Maybe Ducati should kind of look at it a little bit. But again, they put on a new back tire. And they also said something interesting. Zarco never rode the bike with the old tire. You know what I mean? So he doesn't know what to expect. And Zarco is also the sort of rider who does not slide the bike around. He's a very kind of silky smooth. All the rest have to slide the bike in. And with the new Michelin back tire, they can't slide the bike in. So, they're all kind of struggling. They can't steer it. So they're going to have to learn to ride a bit more like Zarco, which is interesting.
Christopher van Beek is a very good question here. Has Alex Marquez finished the race yet?
Who? Oh, MotoGP champion. He deserves to be there.
I was thinking, just staying with Ducati, who the luckiest man heading into 2021 MotoGP is? Daniele Petrucci.
Why? Oh, yes.
He's climbing onto a KTM, and
I know.
We were all like, oh, how? Oh, you're going from Ducati to KTM. Sheridan still said to me on the phone, how many guys now are going, please, KTM, I will ride for you. Remy Gardner last year went on record. There was talk he was going to go to Tech 3 where Iker Lecuona is. Oh, no, I'll only go to MotoGP on an established team bike. Well, you must
I'm going to give you a few. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone. I apologize. And I've got a cat who's busy clawing my leg. This is a zoo going on here. My menagerie is doing well. At least my bulldog stopped chewing the furniture. That's nice. Ow. Sorry. Quick one. Martin Rains. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. He's the old, he's sort of the MotoGP statistician. He sits in the back, and whenever anything happens, like he looked up to say, when was the last time there were two Frenchmen, 1 and 2 on the grid? And the answer was never. He's the guy who does that. He pointed this out. This is interesting. The last Premier Class win by a motorcycle not manufactured either in Japan or Italy was Yugoslavia in 1973, which was Kim Newcomb on a Koenig. What's a Koenig?
Sounds like a microwave or a. Sorry.
So no, the last time a motorcycle not built in Japan or Italy won a Premier Class race was 1973, which I think is it's like 47 years ago. What the hell?
That is a. Where does this guy get these stats?
I don't know. Here's one from someone else. This is to do with Honda. Pre-race morning stat. Kel Crutchlow is qualified in 12th place as a top Honda rider. This is the first time there has been no Honda rider within the top 10 in qualifying since the introduction of the new MotoGP class in 2002. So, yeah, Honda are desperately praying Mr. Marquez come back quickly because they are stuffed right now.
They read, and Barry Moyles just commented here that he might only be back for Misano in September. I'm just googling here something quickly.
Go on then, take your time.
Sorry, it's really last year.
GP1.com quoted, we're talking about Dovizioso. He said he's going to have to study Zarco's starter. He says because everything they tried would not work. He said this is to GP1.com, which is really good. It's an Italian website, brilliant. They get all the intel. The Italian riders open up to them all. He just said every single thing they tried didn't work. Nothing would work. And he says they're going to have to sit and look at Zarco's data. We're going to have to examine it because he did something that he's obviously doing something right that we're not doing.
No, but it's very simple. Listen, I've got to stay at 8 and I can solve this problem for them. Go back to a 2019 bike.
Yeah.
Duh.
Or ride like Zarco.
Yeah, go back to your 2018 bike when you were finishing second in the championship. Your 2020 bike clearly doesn't work. And a very good question here quickly from Sean Hepburn. Has anyone won more races on board a KTM than Brad? I don't think so. Moto3, Moto2, Brad must surely be the most winningest rider for KTM in road racing.
I'm pretty sure about that too.
I mean, how fitting is it that he won in Austria last year, first time a KTM won, and now Brad Binder is the first MotoGP rider to win on a KTM in MotoGP at his third attempt. Man alive. No, man, you beautiful creature. When we talk to him on Tuesday night, I'm gonna.
Can I point out something? We're gonna now actually hark back to some of the other clouds. It's got some interesting things I noticed. Did you know there were 2 number 33s winning today? Did you see that?
Yeah. What's his name? That guy.
Panini, the Moto2 rider, is also number 33.
No, but hang on. I'm thinking of Formula One. There was a Red Bull car that number 33. Verstappen, he's number 33 as well.
Did he win? I don't watch Formula One. I haven't got a clue.
I saw on gokarts.com or something that he won, yeah.
Okay, so there was a 33 in Formula One, a 33 in Moto2, and a 33 in MotoGP. I'm
gonna go and enter the lottery just with 33.
Yeah, just enter 33. 33, 33, 33. And the winner is 33, 33, 33.
But how much good news is this? I did the post-race Zoom conference with Paul Espargaro afterwards, and obviously he was gutted and he didn't really want to actually be talking because one of the things he says is I'm very cross because I don't know if this will happen again or when we'll get the chance that the KTM will be this competitive again. And obviously he's upset that he wasn't the one that did it. Heading into Austria now, I mean, Brad's won there. He's been fast there. The KTM is fast and stable. And Austria is a fast and stable racetrack. I'm
going to say, okay, I think Brad could do well there, especially because the Ducati seem to be having problems. It's always been a Ducati track. Here's the sort of, the kind of true test of fire for Yamaha. If Yamaha can do well there, then they've really upped their game. I mean, they did well. Okay, they didn't win, but they did well at Brno, and I'm sure they're very happy about it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If Yamaha can do well at Red Bull, because they've always sucked there, if they can do well there, yes. But I do think, Red Bull's a stop-goes track. It's a whole lot of hairpins followed by long straights. I mean, it's Brad territory because he's just a demon on the brake. He's so good at stopping the bike, turning and going. That's kind of what he does. So he should be good there.
I like this comment here from Johan van Deventer. Brad Binder won for KTM in Red Bull Rookies, Moto3, Moto2, and MotoGP. He's probably the only one who can actually say that. That's actually a very good stat that he. And it's just paying off that Brad has stuck with him. I mean, when it came out that Brad had signed for KTM MotoGP, we were all happy he was going to MotoGP, but we were all like, oh God, can't you be on a Yamaha or a Ducati or something else because you're not going to have.
I remember everyone said, well, there goes another career of Brad Binder, when we signed with KTM. But something that he did say is when he got on the first KTM, the one from last year, he just struggled. Remember, he was stone dead last. And he said after the first test on the old bike, he went into the winter test and did a whole lot of kind of soul searching. Said, I've got to figure out how to ride this thing. And then they went to Malaysia the next year. He got on the new bike for the first time and just said, this thing is completely different. It's so much easier to ride. It's so much everything. He then had this whole coronavirus lockdown thing. And same sort of thing. He got a few months. And now I remember at the time he kind of said it's a bit of a disadvantage because we need a ride. But he still sat there spending a lot of time, putting thought, how do you ride this bike? And training how to ride this bike and thinking how to ride this bike. And bike racing is all mental. Everything is mental. And you sat there and you planned it all out in your head and you've got it all worked out in your head. I mean, that's 90% of the job done. Most of the problems on any motorcycle is that annoying fleshy bit sitting on the top of it. So, yeah.
Okay, just quickly some comments coming here about, do you think Paul is maybe regretting going to Honda and that? I don't think so. I think he would still go there regardless because it's the championship winning bike. It's a full factory team or whatever. And then let's just talk about South Africans kind of racing today. We know what Brad did, and that was sensational. Darren in the Moto3, we knew Brno was going to be tough for him because, let's be honest, he's on a popcorn machine going up that horsepower hill. And from the third lap, he just had no rear grip. That Oak was out of the saddle. He looked uncomfortable. That famous dive bomb, Darren, coming through the field, I could see kind of from lap 2, it just wasn't going to happen. But having said that, the renewed Darren Binder didn't do anything stupid, and he grinded it out and finished 12th and got more points. So big positive there.
Yeah, everyone's going to have a bad race. I mean, Bruno's never been good. And did you notice that the Moto3 race was not its usual catastrophe of bikes everywhere and dive bombing everywhere? Because Brno because it's old tar, it's sort of a very one-line track. So it's very difficult, to try and get up the inside of all that. And I mean, normally every single corner in a Moto3 race, the lineup changes, you know what I mean? Whereas in this one, it was more like a kind of a freight train, bikes kind of following, not that many overtakes. So I just think for Darren, it was a bit difficult. I mean, it's so difficult. Not only is he big on a slow bike, and struggling to do straight line speed, but, it's not as easy to get past. And he just, if he can overtake, he'll get up there using slipstreams. And you notice at the moment, that second group lost contact with the first. They just went backwards. That is what the slipstream does. The moment you lose that slipstream, you're gone. That's it. It's over. And
but he did it because he came from 15th to 12th, so he did make up positions. Yeah. And again, it just seems to be like this new Darren that's starting to come right, because the old Darren would have just pushed way beyond the limit and thrown that thing into the Brno scenery. So
10 out of 10 for him. It's one tough race. He's gonna have tough races. This was a tough one. Yeah.
100%. Let's
can I make an honorable mention? Just something I pointed out. I'm gonna look up because I keep forgetting the bloody names. Why can't everyone just be called John Smith?
I know.
Okay, can I point out the front of the Moto3 grid, and I'm gonna have to explain this for people because I don't think they were watching quite as closely. So Dennis Foggia won that race on the Leopard, and great for him. I mean, he did a Brad Binder 2016 race where he stayed in the front. He stayed out of trouble, and every single time someone came past him, he immediately went back again and stayed in the front. 10 out of 10 with Dennis Foggia, you won. But the hero of that race for me wasn't Foggia, it was Albert Arenas. Sounds a bit gayness, but anyway. Arenas is this current championship leader, and he was in third place on the last lap behind Aya Agura. So sorry, I'm saying the name. Yeah, the Japanese rider. The Japanese rider was in second. He was in third. They went up to that last flick flag before Horsepower Hill. Now, here's the thing. Agura was in second place behind Foggia, right behind him. And Agura was thinking, must win the race. So he thought, just before Horsepower Hill, I can take a bit of a wide line, get a good drive, get right up behind Foggia, and then outbreak him. That's what he was thinking, and rightly so. Whereas Arenas is in third place. Now, if he wanted to win the race, he could have done exactly the same thing, got a good drive, slipstreamed the two riders in front of them, and then done a dive bomb, and then could have won it. But that's not what he thought. He thought, I don't care about Dennis Foggia because he's not really in the championship. The guy in front of me is. So what he did is he waited until Agura took the wide line through the flick flag to get a drive, and he dive bombed him. You know what I mean? Put him completely off, and he gave Dennis Foggia the win. I mean, from there on, there's no winning. He gave him the win, but more importantly, he beat Agura.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And got 4 more points from the championship. That was clever. I'm sorry, that was just a genius move. He screwed Agura. I don't know if you remember, you saw that after the race, the interviews. Agura just looked pissed.
Yeah. No, he was cross.
And Japanese people don't do angry very well. When you see angry Japanese man, you know it is trouble. You know, he's pissed. He sat there looking fuming. That was genius. That was absolutely genius. He gave away the win just, you know, for the thoughts of the championship. You know what I mean? So Arenas, I'm now a fan. I'm going to be supporting Arenas for, even though his name sounds like anus, I'm going to support him for the rest of the season. Mr. Albert Anus.
You know, you do that, Don. You do that. You support your anus. You know what I love about doing live chats is that people can throw in valuable information that makes us look even better. So we've got a Mr. Graham from Medallia who has been racing motorcycles. Graham, if I believe, like he was one of the few people to actually race against Fred Flintstone. That's what Graham from Medallia has been doing. But he makes a very good point here. Graham is our multiple SA ZX10 Cup Masters champion and top national racer from years gone by. He says, what makes Brad's win even more incredible is that when the other GP riders during lockdown were practicing on proper set up superbikes around tracks and, you know, kitted out machines with new slicks and proper brakes and everything, Brad, and I know this because I was there with Brad, was at the Formula K circuit in Brno on an old crappy GSXR 600 on old crappy tires. Okay, so he didn't rock up there with a brand new R6 or a brand new KTM Super Duke with the latest, greatest kit on, and he rocked up there, and I still said to him, Brad, you know, you could have phoned me and I would have organized you a new set of tires, or, you know, you can spend 5,000 Rand on tires. That's €5, my bad. No, found old tires that he asked around for, put old tires on his bike and rode around. And let me tell you, I've got a video clip of him actually going around that Formula K circuit on a 600. This is a go-kart track, hey, on a national spec 600 from years ago. It was his first 600 that he raced against me back in 2010 on the Triumph. And he's going around doing laps, getting training in on old tires, sliding it in. And Graham makes a very good point there. This is what Brad does. Brad has never been the guy, even when he started racing 150s in this country. Trevor did not buy them the latest, greatest 150s with the latest, greatest. He put them on, you must learn on the worst, in fact, and you must make yourself great. And that is why Brad is that. And yeah, Graham, very good point. Well, very
Thank you too. I mean, compared to what Brad practices on that KTM MotoGP bike, and those tires are, wow, look how well this thing does. It only goes sideways and wants to kill me occasionally. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really good point. A shout out to other South African riders today. Cam Peterson won both his Superstock races over in Moto America. Matthew Skoltz second in Moto America Superbike class. And that's on a privately owned little team on a Yamaha R1 against Monster Energy Yamaha in America, which, let me tell you, that bike of Cambodia is better than the World Superbike machines. So
he's very popular there. I mean, just among the people, among everyone there. People can't praise him enough. It's a bit like
they absolutely love him. Sam Lockhoff finished second, I believe, in the Supersport 300 race, the Junior Cup. Unfortunately, Dominic Doyle crashed out of that race. Who else did we have?
Where is Dorian Lorera? People were asking, and I didn't know this. Where's Dorian Lorera?
Doran and Dino are both in South Africa. They're not racing World Supersport 300 purely because of, if you get out of the country, you can't get back in. So and the smaller championship, and to throw all that money to go do some races and not get back, it's not that easy. So unfortunately, they just didn't go overseas. Bjorn Esmond raced in British Superbikes. He did well, got up into a top 20 spot there. Jordan Weaving raced in there, and then Stephen Windal frustrates me a little bit because I know how far Stephen Windal is, and he hasn't done what he should be doing on that Tenkate Yamaha. But today in race 2, with his 4th place finish, much better from Stephen Windal. So let's hope that they found something. So we've got SA riders just scattered all over the planet, just flying the flag.
Sorry, I'm going to digress slightly. You spoke about Matthew Stoltz in America. Someone who I'm supporting in Moto 2 for very good reason is Joe Roberts. Joe Roberts. 2 reasons. I like Anthony. I like old Hopkins, because he's so cool and so groovy. He's like a surfer dude. I like that. And Joe Roberts also, he just looks cool and groovy. That's not the real reason. The real reason I'm supporting Joe Roberts is because whenever an American does very well in MotoGP or anything, you get a really nice, big, fancy American documentary made out of it. And sure enough, as I was thinking that, the commentators said that there was a camera crew following Joe Roberts around. I was like, there you go. There you go. For the good of MotoGP, I'm supporting Joe Roberts so we can get a big, fancy American documentary narrated by Brad Pitt. You see what I mean? We need that. We need that. So Joe Roberts, come on, buddy, you could do it. He got a 3rd today. It was the first time an American's finished 3rd. Finished on the podium in that secondary class, whatever it's called, since I think it was John Kaczynski in 1993 or something.
Yeah. So crazy. Yeah, that's
Jorge Martin. They said his Pramac ride in MotoGP is not confirmed.
Question mark.
I think there's a nice guy named who's going to have to change his number though. Anea Bastianini.
Yep. Come
on, Pramac. Come on, you could do it. You like Italians. Let's have another Italian. There's a million bloody Spanish. Bring another Italian. I want to hear the Italian national anthem because it sounds good.
I can honestly see that happening. And now with Zarco, look, Zarco's got to back this up. People are saying, give him the factory ride, whatever. Let's not forget how he sucked at Jerez. Okay, so just calm down. I did get a notch of respect for Zarco this weekend. No problem. Let's see if he backs it up. Yes, maybe. But he's actually not even asking for a factory seat. He's more leaning towards that Pramac seat because it does look like Pecco is going to replace Dovi. That does look like it's happening. So Miller and Pecco in the factory team. And then, like I said, Bastianini and Zarco potentially in Pramac, maybe.
Who's it else? There's a guy called Sofa Racer. I don't know who he is. He's on Twitter. He says, Zarco must be careful. If he keeps winning and doing well all the time, Ducati will punish him by giving him a 2020 bike.
No, he's gonna have to be very careful there. Also, shout out to Nationals in South Africa, kicked off again yesterday at Swartkorps, and Clint Seller, after throwing his King Price R1 into the scenery, or into a Jared Schultz and into the scenery, came back and won both those races. So well done to him.
He won it with a big hole in his leg, I believe.
Yeah, he did. He wasn't in a very good shape, and he came back to win. So well done. But I agree with you. In Moto 2, Martin was this next big greatest thing. He's on a Kalex like everyone else and done nothing for me. It's his 2nd season in Moto 2 and he's done absolutely nothing. And he's a piece of dry toast, if you ask me. So I like Bastianini because he's also got that little bit of Italian greasy hair.
But I did like it. I mean, Joe Roberts looked really sort of happy. He's like, hey, man, I'm so happy. My mom and dad, so glad to see you. Then after that, Sam Lowe's, who was just like, wow, you gave me a good bike. And he was tearing up. He looked so happy. And then after that, you get Bastianini, and he's leaning on a bit like this, going, I race the motorcycle. And, now I go, I got the supermodels, the supermodels. I got to see them in the hotel room. I go see them now. They wait for me, but this is this. So.
Mark Wilson makes a very good point here. Shout out to Elisha Sparger on the Aprilia.
No, he says Elisha Asparagus.
Yeah, Elisha. But listen, we kind of knew they would battle at Jerez. This is the thing. Jerez was never really a reference point. It's a stop-go track where Yamahas show well. Get to the longer tracks like Brno, Red Bull Ring now, where the Aprilias, KTMs can kind of stretch their legs a little bit. Now we're going to see Now we're going to see who's doing what. And today was not such a good reflection for
Give me a minute. Hold on.
what is your dog doing now?
No, don't eat that. Don't eat that.
Kingdom. Stephen Berry Nagashima was disappointing. But John, I think that the longer tracks now, the Red Bull rings and that, we're going to see a bit more of the other guys come to the floor. Yes, Quartararo did amazingly at Res 1 and 2. Yes, he's leading the championship. But today just showed, like you said, there's a chink in the armor there. There's a chink in that armor.
I don't see Quartararo as kind of, he's good. And I when Quartararo won Jerez 1 and 2, nobody in the whole world said, oh, why did he win? Why did he win? Not a single person. It's just, you're like, cool, Quartararo, nice guy, big smiley, funny teeth, but like Brad, you just kind of, you're just cool. He's a nice guy. But I just, I don't see him as a Marquez finishing on the podium every single race. That's where Marquez is going to come back with half a flippant arm, and he's going to be on the podium every single race. And I mean, there's three. If he's able to come back this next race at Red Bull Ring, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was up near the front. And then he's going to be up near the front for the rest of the season, and everyone's going to make mistakes, and he's still going to win. And then I've got to put up with these blasted Marquez supporters being insufferable.
Well, your best mate Johnny Ray won both races today. Just quickly, last question now. Everyone's commenting about the question: do we think Danny Pedrosa's had a big role in the KTM? So the simple answer to that is yes. And let me tell, and you'll touch on this, Don, as well. Let's just dive into this quickly before we end. So KTM have been very stubborn over the last 4 years. Paul Espargaro says we need to change this. We need to leave WP suspension. We need to go Öhlins. We need to dump and burn the trellis frame. It doesn't work. KTM said we will never abandon our roots, WP suspension and trellis frame. They hired Danny Pedrosa, who we all said will not be a good test rider. He's small. He doesn't get heat in the tires. He's not a test rider. Pedrosa comes in and says your electronics are crap. Your trellis frame is never going to work. And you need to do something with your WP suspension. KTM, to their credit, hire this super genius from Öhlins, pay him all kinds of money, bring him to WP. First big coup. They then fix the electronics package. But the biggest thing they've done is they've digressed from their steel trellis only frame to this kind of little bit of beam, little bit of trellis. So yes, simple answer, massive credit to Danny Pedrosa, massive credit to KTM, who opened and broadened their horizons, and now they said in 5 years' time we'll be winning MotoGP races, and today they were right.
By the way, did you see KTM is second in the manufacturer standings behind Yamaha?
Brad Binder's fifth in the World Championship.
He's only like finished 1/3 of the races. You know what I mean? It's like, what? Oh.
Okay, before we finish the show, Valentino Rossi finished ahead of Fabio Quartararo. So the old man.
But something interesting is Rossi always struggled with grip, and yet he started going quicker towards the end of the race, which is sort of interesting, isn't it?
But you see, what I liked, Quartararo said, I can't ride anything other than the soft tire. I'm going with a soft tire, bugger you. Rossi knows that the soft tire is the better for lap times on it, but he still went with the medium and he made it work in the race. And that's what Fabio going to have to learn. And that's what Lorenzo suffered on the Ducati. He couldn't make any other tire than a soft work. Maverick
Vinales?
Oh,
remember him?
Oh. Who's that? Who's that?
Or something. What's going on? What's going on? No, you know what? I think Yamaha needs to hire a team psychologist. And they need to get these two and sit them all down and say, right, listen, you little, you know what I mean? It's just that their riders, Maverick and especially Maverick and Quartararo, are both a little bit, little things just put them off completely. Lorenzo, as you said, at the same problem. But I mean, maybe it's partially the Yamaha kind of, it's the way you ride the Yamaha. If it doesn't work perfectly, it doesn't work. Another interesting thing I saw was old Morbidelli. They asked him in the sort of post. There was about 12 press conferences anyway. And the last post press conference where they Skyped everyone, someone asked him what Morbidelli had done during all this off season that had made a difference, because he did, and he said he got more professional. and I believe he's part Brazilian as far as I know. And he just said, I ignored my Brazilian side, which means I think it means at first I think it means he shaves less or waxes less, but then he said no, quite simply during winter he didn't party so much. He's always been the most laid back. He's like a beach bum. He'll sort of sit in the surf and ciao. He's the most chilled, laid back guy on the planet. They need someone to run around and kind of direct him where to go to the press conferences. Otherwise, he just sit in a cafe and drink espresso all day. And he said, no, I didn't. I trained. I stopped going to parties. I didn't party as much. I didn't, go wild. And it's amazing the sort of difference they made. The other thing he said, which I thought was also like, he spoke about Rossi. He said, on track, Rossi is my enemy. Off the track, he's like an uncle to me. He says, we will go at each other on the track. The moment we get off the track, he's like my big uncle, which I was like, oh.
I'm like that to Brad Binder. On track, we were rivals when he was 13 years old. When he was 13.
Maybe on like on your PS4 when you're riding and you put Brad into AI easy mode. And
I raced him when he was 13 years old and I beat him, okay?
Yeah, you're on a 600 years or 150 and you only just beat him.
Shut up, man. Sean SP O'Neill does make a point here for me. The KTM is an oval frame. Remember, the trellis is like an oval frame, but they've kind of combined it. And we actually need to do an article on what frame. We're going to ask Brad on Tuesday. What frame do you actually run? Is it B? Is it oval? Is it square? Is it round? Is it rectangle? Like, what do you actually? Because no one actually knows what that KTM frame is. Is there carbon fiber in it? Is it just metal? Is there magnesium? Is there a bit of Marc Marquez titanium shoulder blade, can't open windows in there? Like what is it, We're going to have to find that homework, Donovan.
Yeah, what was it? Where's Neil Pincus? The mad Pincus brothers. They're all mad scientists, all loony. He actually did some research from motocross, the difference between, because they're the same story. They got the steel frames and the KTMs and the aluminium frames and everything else. And it was not so much the flex, but the way it flexes. Because like aluminium bends and then snaps back very quickly, whereas steel bends and then goes back slowly. So it's sort of a different dynamic, you know what I mean? And I know you speak to some of the motocross riders, they get off their Japanese bike onto a KTM, and they say, look, the KTM feels very good, but it feels weird. In what way do you feel weird? And they go, I don't know, it just feels weird. It's like a very different feeling.
Mark Wilson says carbon composite tubular trellis frame. Say that.
Go on, say it fast. Go, try.
Carbon composite tubular frame. Carbon composite tubular trellis frame. There we go.
There we go. I'm going to call it CCTTF for short.
Oh, Ray Huis and Rob shared some pics of Brad back in the day with him rocking hairdo. Let me tell you, so for this post, I went back in my archives and I just, looked at some of the pictures I've got. I'm going to actually hold Brad Binder to ransom. I'm going to tell him he's got to pay me €1 million. Otherwise, I'm going to put some pictures on the interweb that will ruin his career unless he pays me €1 million.
You sound like my ex-girlfriend.
You freak. On that note, we are going to end. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I'm just waiting. Brad kind of confirmed with the video that he sent me that we're speaking to him on Tuesday night, but I'll get final details. I'll post it up tomorrow or latest Tuesday morning, but we are definitely chatting to Brad Binder sometime this week. To all the beautiful women out there, happy Women's Day. Without you, there's a saying, behind every successful man, there's a strong woman. In my case, it's not behind, it's side by side. Women don't belong behind. They belong side by side. So to all you beautiful women, we love you so much and thank you so much. And well done to Anna Carrasco. What were you going to say?
One last thing. On that note, behind every successful man is a successful woman. Courtney, Brad Binder's girlfriend, please let Brad have a giraffe.
Please now. He can use his prize money.
He won a race. He can have a giraffe now.
Imagine a giraffe on starting grid or in the paddock or at post.
Umbrella girl. They don't allow umbrella girls. So everyone else has some fat dude standing there. Brad has a giraffe.
With an umbrella strapped to its head.
Yes.
All the shade in the wall.
Yes.
Good idea. I like your thinking. So join us for another episode of Talking MotoGP, where we'll have not only Brad Binder, but Darren Binder later this week. Remember, 31st of August, Motor Rider World will be launching the website and the digital mag. And your Donovan Sek, what is it again? Sek's Breakfast of Champions. Donovan keeps telling himself that. And look out on the Motor Rider World Facebook page. You can still win that VR46 Monster Energy hamper. I've got another Polar Spargo screen to give away, signed, a cap with some other goodies. And then catch me tomorrow night on the Beam Productions page, because we're giving away that little raffle that we're doing where you can win a ride on an Aprilia at Red Star. But you want to see the prize that's coming next week, especially after what happened today. You want to tune in and see the prize that's coming there. Mark Wilson, PS, Robert Portman, I want that 46 hamper. Mark Wilson, I'm very open to bribery, my friend. I've got 2 kids and a beautiful wife. If you offer me stupid amounts of money, I will make you a winner. I don't feel bad at all.
Stephen Berry, hashtag giraffes for Brad. I'm with that.
There we go. We're going to do it. Let me tell you, Sean Meredith from Smashton Industries, who runs Brad's apparel and that, and I do some design work for Brad stuff. We've got something really cool that's going to come out to hopefully. We're just waiting for Brad to finish talking to the world and drinking champagne to approve the design. So keep a lookout for a limited edition special T-shirt commemorating what happened today. Don, thank you so much. Yeah. Give me a giraffe and I want it, Bruno. Don, thanks so much for joining us again, and I'll see you sometime this week. Hopefully Tuesday night. If not Tuesday, probably Wednesday night. Tuesday night.
Cool.
Thanks
Awesome.
everyone for tuning in. Cheers. Thanks for all the comments. And yes, Zarko did take Polar Spargo out. I'm right. Okay, love you. Bye.